Hello, everybody. My name is Shelby Adams, and today I will be talking to you about re-engineering within the organization. In this discussion, I utilize a text from Hammer and Champy's book called Re-Engineering in the Corporation. They explain what re-engineering was, which is the rebuilding process where an entire organization operations are created anew. To simply put it, it's basically just starting from scratch, restarting everything, wiping a clean slate, and just starting to build up from there. Although re-engineering has its own flaws, it also has a lot of upside and benefits to it. That will be discussed in this presentation. So to start off, the definition of re-engineering. The definition of re-engineering is the process of reviewing all the different levels of an organization ways of doing business and considering how to improve things, which is basically just always trying to better your business. The features of this is a leader, a process owner, a re-engineering team, and overall a re-engineering community. These people always just have their meetings and talk about ways that their business can improve, and also how the business could make more profit for themselves. The strengths of re-engineering would improve productivity and profit, like I just said, within the corporation. Companies will save more time and money by rethinking and restructuring the entire corporation. And also, it will be able to create new operations, like I said earlier, started from scratch. Some weaknesses within this is many re-engineering efforts fail to manage the transition. A lot of times it's not easy just starting from scratch. You work your hardest to build up this business, and then when you try to restart it over, start from scratch, and throw away everything, it's not always the best. So without bringing in other businesses, other corporations like that, I like to do this in a unique fashion to way I better understand this, which is bringing it to sports. So an example of re-engineering within the sports program, I like to utilize the NBA, for example. One of the NBA teams right now is called the Phoenix Suns. So a little history about them. It was going back to 2010 was the last time that they were in the playoffs. From 2010 and 2020, they didn't make the playoffs. So last year was the first time in 10 years that they made the playoffs. And now this year they're the number one team in the entire NBA. The way that they did this was by re-engineering. They got a lot of times when teams are struggling within a long period of time like that, people might think it's the coaches or it's the players. Well, with re-engineering, what you're doing is just taking a look at your organization and the way that you're doing things and how you could improve it. So what do? You go out there, you get a new coach, you get new players, and you also build a new culture within that program. The players and the coaches that you get are players and coaches that can help build this culture. For example, the Suns went out there and got an extremely high energy and very defense intensive head coach with Monty Williams. With this, they got players like Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, DeAndre Ayton, and Chris Paul, which are all good leaders and all good defensive players. And they already had their superstar with Devin Booker scoring over 27 points per game. With this, the Suns have had recent success. When the COVID-19 happened and the NBA teams had to go into the bubble, the Phoenix Suns went on an amazing run, winning 8 games in a row. Although they did not make the playoffs that year, they proved everybody in the league that there was a team that would be on the watch list for the next season. The next season came around, and the Suns were now the number 2 team in the Western Conference. They ended up going to the finals. Although losing to the Milwaukee Bucks, they proved to everybody that they was now one of the best teams in the NBA. Now, recently, this year, the Suns have finished the regular season being the number 1 team in the NBA. On top of that, they had 2 All-Stars with Chris Paul and Devin Booker. This is amazing accomplishments that this team has had within the past 3 years, and it's all from re-engineering their team and building a better culture. These are some of the references that I use for this discussion. I like to point out the Hammer and Chammy's book. It has a lot of good details and a lot of good insights just for me personally to better understanding what re-engineering was for corporations. That is it. Thank you so much.